If you made a pickle, cause there's nothing left to spread. Got a kitchen full of people and there's nothing in your head. We've got all the answers, got a lot for you in store. Pickles, sausage, chutney, jelly, jams, and more. Put a lid on it. Put a lid on it. There's just nothing in the world you can't preserve. Put a lid on it. Put a lid on it. And sit back and get the praise that you deserve.
We're going to give you that wonderful recipe that we promised you. It's for blueberry and rhubarb jam. It's a real favorite with my family.
I think she means our family.
Yes, I do mean our family. Now, the recipe comes from Jean Paret's cookbook called Preserves. It's from her company's Coming series, and it is a really great recipe. Now, today we're going to use fresh blueberries and fresh rhubarb. And if you happen to live in Eastern Canada, sometimes blueberries and rhubarb are ready at the same time.
And if you live in Western Canada, you can substitute Saskatoon berries for blueberries.
That's right, and you can use a combination of both frozen or, say for example, you were using frozen rhubarb and fresh blueberries. It's great as long as you use 2 cups of blueberries and 2 cups of rhubarb. We're also going to take 7 cups of white sugar, combine it in this pot, and bring it to a boil for 5 minutes. But Jennifer's going to tell you about the blueberries.
These are commercial blueberries, and they're a bit larger than your regular blueberries that you would go and pick yourself. So we just coarsely chop them, and I've got these pretty much chopped, and that gives your jam a nice consistency.
Now, speaking of picking blueberries, we have many years of experience picking berries, don't we, Jennifer?
Yes, our lovely mother always had us out in the berry field from the beginning of summer right till the bitter end.
That's right. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries.
Gooseberries, blackberries.
Yes, we picked them all. And Mom, we had a great time picking those berries. We want you to know that.
And it gave us a real appreciation for homemade jam.
It sure did. And actually, we've passed that tradition on. Now, my children thinks that everyone makes homemade jam, don't they?
And they won't eat the store-bought.
But now, you see, we're going to show you how easy it is so that everybody can make homemade jam. Now, Jennifer's going to take that to the stove.
Did you tell them about bringing it to a boil?
Well, I'll talk about that over here. Now, this is our combination, the same one that Jennifer has there. It's been boiling for 5 minutes. We started it off at a low simmer until the sugar dissolved, and then we boiled it for 5 minutes. Now I'm going to add 1 package of liquid pectin. Now this is your commercial pectin. It's not the pectin that Jennifer and I made earlier. And you're going to use 1 pouch or 6 tablespoons. And what we want to do now is we want to return our blueberry and rhubarb mixture to a full hard rolling boil and boil it for 1 minute.
So you started to time that? It's already boiling?
Yes, it's boiling now. Now is when we start timing. And Jennifer's going to talk a little bit about preparing our jars and our lids while this boils for 1 minute. Away you go.
Okay, we've put our jars into a boiling water bath. They're going to boil for at least 10 minutes. Now the reason for this is we're only going to process our jam for 5 minutes, and your jars will be sterile if they've been in your boiling water bath for a minimum of 10 minutes. And you also want to keep your jars nice and hot. We're only going to fill our jars 1 at a time.
Okay, well, you can get one of our jars ready.
Okay.
Yes, what would you like?
I was going to ask for the tongs, but I have them. So I'm going to take my lid off, as opposed to putting my lid on. And I'll bring my hot jar over. Jane's going to bring our lids, which have been simmering, I'll bring them.
Okay.
They've been simmering for 5 minutes, and that makes the compound around the inner seal of the snap lid nice and soft, and it makes a good seal. I'm
bringing the jam.
Okay.
And actually, when we're done our blueberry and rhubarb jam, a little later, I'm going to give you some information about how you can always achieve a great seal with your snap lids. So now our jars are hot, our lids are hot.
Jar filler.
Now, if you don't have one of these jar fillers, I'll tell you it's a great investment because it really cuts down on the mess. Not that Jennifer and I make a mess very often, but it really does help. Because every time after you filled your jar, you always want to wipe your rim with a clean, sterile cloth.
And we fill our jar to within ½ an inch of the top.
That's right.
Now, if you will hold that, I'll get another jar. And something we should add, we usually have little helpers here with us. Jane's 2 little girls, so we have been known to make a mess.
And I have to say, those two little girls, one of them is going to be 11 and she made her first batch of jam just last week all by herself. Of course, closely supervised, but she's pretty proud of those 7 pints of jam. So,
okay, we have enough left in our pot to fill 2 more jars, but we're going to just set that aside.
I'll take this back over, Jen.
Okay. Now, I've got our lids right here. They're nice and hot, and oftentimes when they're in simmering, you'll notice that they will stick together a little bit.
Did you wipe these rims?
Wipe the rim. Very important. That gives you a good seal.
Yes, anything that can contaminate your seal is a problem, so you want to wipe the top so that when Jennifer puts on her snap lids and centers them, there's nothing that's going to be in the way.
Now, as I said, sometimes they stick together when they're in the pot, but just gently take them apart. You don't want to scratch the underside of the snap lid.
Now what I'm doing is putting my rings on finger type. Say that for me.
Fingertip tight.
That's what I mean. And we're going to process these in our water bath canner for 5 minutes.
And I have our jar tongs. It's no slip, and I can just put those back in. The water is at least 1 inch over the top of the jars. They're going to be returned to a boil. And this is the time, after we've taken them out, after the 5 minutes of processing, that Jane and I always love to sit back,
That's right.
look at our handiwork, and say, wow.
Can you believe we made that? And then we listen for that elusive sound.
That little...
Because that's the sound of a great seal, and that's the sound you want to hear. Make it again.
You love that.
Well, you're so good at sound effects. Now, we'll be back in a couple of minutes because I'm going to talk about those seals and how you can obtain a great seal every time. This is the sound that every good preserver loves to hear. That's the sound that lets you know you've had a great seal. First and foremost, always use new snap lids. One-piece snap lids actually have 4 parts: a tin base, gold lacquer cover on the outside, and on the inside a white acid-resistant enamel and a ring of rubber sealing compound. The lids should be boiled according to manufacturer's directions, so they will be sterile and so the rubber compound will be softened. When you're ready to fill and prepare your jars for processing, carefully wipe the rim of your mason jar with a clean, damp cloth in order to get rid of any material that might come between the glass and the rubber compound on the snap lid. Then you put the snap lid on, centering it on the rim, and put your screw band on fingertip tight. This will allow some give between the lid and the screw band so that rising steam and air created inside the jar during heat processing can get out. When you put your preserves into the boiling water bath canner, 1 to 2 inches of water should cover your jars so the boiling water can work on the whole container. The job of the screw band is simply to hold the lid in place during processing. It, like the mason jars, can be reused, and if it's removed soon after you've got your seal, you'll avoid any possibility of rust between snap lid and screw band. When all the air has been exhausted, the pop we love to hear means an airtight vacuum seal has been created. I'm doing this just to show you that there is a natural springiness built into the snap lid. Don't be tempted to try and force the pop. 24 hours after you're finished processing and you've removed your screw band, you're going to be able to hold up your preserves by only holding the snap lid. Then you know you've got a great seal.
Well, we've had a great time today on Put a Lid on It. We hope you've enjoyed learning how to make the all-natural apple pectin, the strawberry kiwi fruit jam, and our favorite, the blueberry rhubarb jam.
So thanks for joining us today on Put a Lid on It.
We've had a very good time.
Oh, yes, we have. We'll see you next time on Put a Lid on It.
Got all the answers, got a love for you in store. Pickles, sausage, jelly, jelly, jams, and more. Put a lid on